Here's the motherboard from a compact SLT, portable slash luggable slash laptop hybrid quasi-computer by Compaq again. This is a 386 at 20 megahertz with a 387 coprocessor. The CMOS battery is flat and it will not retain settings between reboots even though the system has power. So in order to boot it from the hard drive, like how it say the hard drive parameters, I need to change the battery. I've got it fully disassembled down to the board here. The hard drive and floppy all come out with this as one large unit. It slides right out of the back of the machine. Here's the case. There's the back. And unfortunately, this has the Dallas RTC, where the battery is built into the plastic housing and it's not user replaceable. But I'm going to be a little bit lazy and hopefully not very dangerously replace this in place, or not replace, but modify this in place to accept a battery holder for a CR2032 coin cell that will then be wired into this and placed elsewhere out of harm's way. Possibly here, it looks like a good spot for it. Yeah, so what we need to do, I've done this before, but I removed the RTC. You need to cut 2 slits into it. This is the previous one I've done before. There's a gap, there's 3 pins, gap 3 pins, large gap 2 pins. You need to cut here, solder wires onto that, then drill a hole into the first one to disconnect the internal battery. This is the top edge right here, so we have lots of free room to do this, and being very careful not to slip with my rotary tool and pierce or scratch the board. I'm going to attempt to grind those slots out live on camera. So let's get down in here, see if I can do this while I have you on camera. Get you centered. Let's bring some light around. There we go. And now I need to get something to sit behind here. Good. And hopefully I have something in the front to keep this from sliding. Man, this would be a good time for some putty or blue tack. Let's see, what can I do? Shoot. Okay, I got some packing tape here. I'm going to see if I can just tape this onto my workspace. So, let's get another piece on there. Okay. Now, you have a better view of this than I do, the pins. It looks like from this angle there are pins all the way across this, but I'm going to do my tape here real quick and bring this into the camera. If you look in there real close, you can see there's a difference. Here, there's a pin missing, 1, 2, 3, then no solder on these, and then 2 there. So I can tell that I need to do the cut here, and I cut here. So I'm going to mark those. If I can get this tape in place again. Get you back centered. Get some light. There we go. All right, I have to look at the camera because this is obscured. So you do a cut here. 1, 2, 3, and a cut here. pictures. I'll have to drill out the hole on the first one, that'll be negative, and then positive is on that one. So let's get started. Let me change tips. This is a little too fine right now. Let's do this one. This one's more rounded with a flat hard edge instead of a fine tip, pointed tip. Much better. Now we're getting to the internal epoxy. I can see metal. My tip flew out. Let's reseat. There we go. Let's wash this. See, so you can see the metal there and a little bit there, so I'm going to clear out a little bit more here, and we'll need to drill a bit deeper to disconnect that one. Okay. There's some metal particulates in this dust, so make sure I clear all that out. Some of it will have gone underneath this. I'm just going to hope that's okay. tell if that's disconnected. Let's do a continuity test. So that's still connected. And see if the battery actually has any voltage on it. It has 0.2 volts. So I need to drill a little bit deeper here to disconnect the battery on this side. I'll go back to my, I'll keep using the hard round edge. Getting there deeper. Okay, let's see how that does. We've done it. Disconnected. Voltage measurement. So from the top, I get 0.2. From below, I get nothing. So we are now disconnected. See if I can get that in view again. It's kind of hard to see my screen. I guess you can see all right. So just again to remind myself, the positive is on my left, so that's over here. The negative's here. So no voltage there. If we go above, we get something. The battery seems to have reverse discharged a little bit. Below. Oops. And above 0.2. And oh, wait a minute. Did it disconnect? Go high. Okay. So down here together, shorted. Poke higher. Nothing. Okay. Let me... Oh yeah, I can definitely see that now looking. I can't really see at this angle, but I think maybe you can see it. The metal tabs we need to solder to are here and here, and there's a gap there where I've cut through it, so we are disconnected. So my soldering iron is primed. I am going to see if I can get some solder on there. Might need to hold it for a second because there's going to be loss of heat. There we go. There's a nice good ball. And here. There we go. Let me double check. Or actually, I don't need to double check. Let's just get some wire. Pull that apart. Let's strip some of the sheath off. Get some solder on the wire. Okay. Then I need to put positive here. negative here, being careful not to bridge it. There we go. Before we continue, I'm just going to do one more wash to make sure I got as much of this particulate out as I can. That's the downside of this in-place drilling, is that there is plastic, epoxy, and metal dust flying everywhere. I'm going to do a little extra above to see if I can make it wash down underneath, not the underside. And I'll sop that up. Okay, that looks pretty clean. And then I'm going to take my tape off and lay this flat again. Take garbage aside. For this, probably be a good idea to tape this somehow so there's no stress on the solder points. What should I do? I think I'll wrap it in Captain. If I know where I put the Captain. No, I'm not going to worry about it right now. Let's put it about this length. This is not a high current draw, so I don't care about wire length. There won't be really much voltage drop for long wires. It'll give us plenty of room to place the battery out of harm's way. And strip these. That out. Pull those apart. And where did I put my solder? Misplaced my solder. Here we go. There. And the battery holder. This is negative on the single center point, and both of these are positive. Only need one. Oops. So I chose this battery holder because it's just the one I had nearby. It has a disadvantage of being able to accept the battery in either direction. Just mind the polarity when you open this once every 10 or 20 years. I'm going to bend these legs down flat and then solder on our wire. There we go. So now I have to find my electrical tape because I want to wrap this to prevent the wire from tugging, and this is exposed. It could jostle around and touch things that should not be touched. One moment. Success, I found it. Do one small piece just to cover the back contacts, a longer piece to then hold that in place, pulling it tight and trying not to obscure the polarity markings of the holder. Not pretty, but that will do. Okay, and then one more piece, just to encase the entire thing. Before I do that, let's take some of this scrap packing tape to act as a non-stick shield so there no battery gunk gets on the battery itself, or no tape gunk gets on the battery itself. Then I'll wrap that. And I'll fold one end of it over a little bit to give a tab to pull for future. And it's not pretty, but that'll do. And I don't like how this is pulling. I'm going to put some tape around that. I'd rather have my thin Captain, but I'll just electrical tape it. Pull it tight. One more small piece just to make it a little bit cleaner. Like so. Tuck that in. Now that's clean. Okay. Now our battery is replaceable. It sits nicely here. Or, yeah, it's fine. Just set it. No, because there's a screw hole there. Yeah, it's fine. Wait, but the RAM sits here. That gets in the way. Shoot, so it cannot sit there. I did not. All the RAM sits up here, so I don't really want to put it up here in case this leaks, because then it gets all over the surrounding components. I wonder if the chassis were in place, or the rest of the chassis, if I feed this up, just bring that out of the way, and if the battery were in place, that might work. I'll just do that. I'll do that. I'll just close it right up and leave this out here hanging for a much easier replacement without full disassembly in the future. So I'm going to throw this together. That's the video for packing the Dallas RTC for an external battery. And I'll make a new video about the repaired SLT. Thanks. Okay, let's see what we've got. And one thing that's interesting I like about this is that the hooks on the latch are very long because they have to pierce through the keyboard to get into the mating spots there. So when you close it, come out through the keyboard to hold the keyboard in place, because otherwise the keyboard is just not attached in any way whatsoever. Anyway, let's power it. Sounds good. Testing. Copy test. Complaining about time and date not being set. Let me grab that diagnostic diskette. Because the early compacts do not have a proper BIOS set. It's all on a program. Which exists on a boot disk usually. And it's not very fast. Yep, cool. Today is 05/17/2020. And the time is 20:31, whatever. Okay. No hard drive configured. Oh, it says there's one in there. Floppy's good. So I'm not going to configure the hard drive. It might have automatically detected it. My other machine did. 120 megabytes, that sounds about right. Let's reboot and see if it complains. Oops. Save. Take the disk out. No complaints yet. Straight into booting. Oh, and from the hard drive. Awesome. It did not do this before. I'll put this away. Cool. Time.